Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today for the Golden Circle. Thank you for those that are in the class today. We are going to be talking about this. I've talked about this before, a Golden Circle. So essentially what this is a different way of thinking when it comes to your value proposition, okay? So we're going to get right into it here. To all of those watching later, thank you for joining me on my channel, Raw Real Estate, or my segment, Raw Real Estate. On my channel is John the Realtor, all one word. Be sure to like and subscribe and so you can be alerted for future videos, okay? Now, Golden Circle. Ultimately, Simon Sinek is the creator of this, so that's my disclaimer is I am not the creator of the Golden Circle. The Golden Circle is a simplified way of describing your value proposition by describing yourself, your product, your relationship, your company, what have you, to those that you're talking to. So essentially the Golden Circle starts with some rings, okay? So we're going to draw one ring in the center, okay? We're going to draw another one as your outer ring, and then we will draw a third one as well. Now, I heard this at our regional meeting last month, and at our regional meeting, it was explained this way, and I absolutely loved it. I looked up Simon Sinek's video, and I thought it was fantastic. So essentially, what this means, what this does is there's three circles, right? So you have your what. Okay. Everybody knows what they do, right? This is everyone. Everyone knows what they do at their company, at their job, in their life, and all of that, right? So not a lot of people know the how. Okay? We'll just put not many. Not many people know how they do things, how they perform at their job, how they work, how their company does what it does for them to recruit to their company. So essentially, if you are looking to recruit an agent to Keller Williams and you've worked with them on a transaction, or no matter what company you're with, you could be with Century 21. This could apply to you too. If you go to an agent and you've worked with them, you thank you for your transaction, it was great. Hey, how do you like your company? Awesome. Hey, you should check out Keller Williams. Really? Why should I check out Keller Williams? Well, generally what we say is, well, Keller Williams provides you with, and you start listing all the things that Keller Williams does for us on a what basis, right? Everybody knows that. So you start talking about 100% commission. Yay, 100% commission. It's great. You start talking about profit share, right? Oh, awesome, profit share. Then you start talking about education. Oh, we offer education, right? You start naming all these things that Keller Williams, does, or your company does for their people, okay? But that's not what sells people, okay? Then you start going into, well, and they say, so how do they do this? So like profit share. Well, how do they make money if you profit share? Oh, you start going, oh, I don't know. I think they take a part of their, their profits from the office and they spread it out to the agents. Well, if you don't know how they do it, then why are you even telling them about it, right? That's just an example again. Now, very few people know the why, and that's where we're going to focus on. So few people know of the why. So in this case, why does Keller Williams benefit me from becoming an agent with them or a broker associate? Okay, why? Why am I a good agent, better than the competition to list with you, my client? Why am I coming to you and saying, this is why I think I'm the best suited to list your home, or I'm the best agent to use as a selling agent, as a buyer's agent? If you can find out the why, you're golden, because then at that point you can transition to the how. Okay, and then you can transition to the what. Simon Sinek said it best. He said, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Now, the other thing he talked about was Apple computers, and I'll just stick to that one for this class, okay? So Apple computers came out and said, we make computers, you know, and they were trying to market, or other companies came out and talked about, they make computers, they're the best in the industry, and they absolutely failed. Well, Apple came out and wanted to beat the competition by selling why they do what they do, right? So Brian, if you're an agent, and you go to your client and you say, my name is Brian, I work with Keller Williams Realty, I'm here for my listing appointment, and we'll focus on just real estate for today. But and you present your listing presentation. Listing presentations typically will say what you provide as your service, correct? Generally, the client will say, well, how do you provide that? How do you do that? Well, you know, I pay for photography, drone, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, social media, all of that. But they're left with that. Very few agents will go to them and say, I do what I do because I want to help you get to the next stage of your life and put as much money in your pocket as I can, so that you can move forward to the next stage, whether that's growing as a family or retiring or buying another rental or investing or doing something else, right? So that is your value proposition. You need to know why you're doing that. So that's typically what I do is I give them that why first, and then I ask them to see their home. After I see the property, then I sit down with them and I go, look, this is how I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, provide these services. I'm going to provide you social media exposure. I'm going to advertise in magazines. I'm going to provide you with drone photography. That's how I'm going to do it, but at the same time, I'm telling them what I'm going to do. Okay? The other thing on the what I'm going to do is we're going to do open houses. We're going to continue to, we're going to consistently market your property. That's what I'm going to do for you. Okay? So they've already been bought with your why, with your value proposition. And that's what's important about the golden circle is, and why it's so simple and why it's brilliant, because all you're doing is switching up your thought process. Right now, most people start with the what. Everybody starts with what. That's how it always happens. So what I encourage you to do is draw this diagram and then write down 3 points on at least 3 of your what. Do the same thing for your how. So come over here for your how and write 3 points for your how, okay? And then for your why, do the same thing. But I encourage you to write down 5 things as to why you are all better than the competition. Why are you more educated than me as an agent? Why are you, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, okay? Very simple. When you talk about the what, if you're talking about an agent or to an agent about recruiting, and you go to that agent and you say, hey, you know, Keller Williams, I think you should join Keller Williams because they're an agent-centric company. They allow their agents to have a voice and to make decisions with their policies and procedures, and they allow you to grow at whatever level you want with the company. You can be a team leader, you can be an owner. You can be an owner and a team leader in 2 separate offices. You can do a lot of different things and still grow. Plus, they do that by providing education, fantastic training material, and they're continuing to grow with Command. KW Command is out there. A lot of people out there in the YouTube world don't know or haven't heard it. KW Command is fantastic. There is no other company pouring as much money into a system like Keller Williams is. So that's your how. Oh, and by the way, we give you 100% commission as an agent. We give you profit share. We give you the career training. We give you education. If you know people, we have a school at our office now. And you start listing all of these things, and that is your what. But people already bought into it because a lot of companies out there don't do what we do. They're not agent-centric. They don't listen to their agents. They continue to charge their 6 to 8% in royalty, and they don't cap on that. They continue to charge and charge and charge. Even if you have a 90-10 agent or an 85-15 agent that that says, well, I make enough money, they hook me up with a 90-10, whatever. Well, technically you don't have a 90-10. You have a 90-10, but you're also paying 6%. So really you don't. So, and some companies don't have royalties and all that stuff, but some do. And this is directed towards anything. So that's your golden circle. Doesn't take long to talk about, but that is your golden circle. Any questions on it? Anybody want to try and role play it? Or has anybody from the last class come up with a statement of their own? I know one of our agents did. She came up with a value proposition statement for herself. It was good, very good. What was the statement? I don't know what the statement was. I read it, but I didn't memorize it. It was good because she talked about her value as an agent through what the company allows her to do. And then she talked about how the company does that by providing specific tools. And then she went into, I get 100% commission and all this stuff. And so that's the important thing. But as far as your listings go, we're going to be doing a listing class here in a little bit. But with the listing class, when we talk about overcoming objections, and I'll touch on it a little bit before we end the video. But for the listing class, essentially, when you go into a listing presentation and you talk to you talk to a seller, and the seller talks about, what their goal is. Typically, their goal is what? Sell for the most money, exactly. So, how are we going to do that? Well, as far as the market is concerned, if the number doesn't meet or doesn't match their needs, then either they have to come down a little bit, or if the house has been updated or the property is worth more and we can pull in more money, then great. But your value proposition is where the listing is going to come from. Okay. Any thoughts, comments, concerns? What do you guys think? I'm going to step out of frame here for a second. What do you guys think on the...
Just ever since the last meeting, like anything that happens right now, in my mind, all I keep saying is inward out, inward out, inward out.
Right.
My daughter and I were talking about the other day, it's like, all that negativity around you, don't let it in. Just, you're positive, bring it out.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been telling myself, and I think it's working.
Yeah, positivity is key, guys. Positivity is huge. If you're not positive going into a listing appointment or talking to an agent about your company, or you're not confident at it, then how are you going to do that how are you going to do that when you talk to somebody? Or maybe you're pulling comps for somebody and you want to let them know where the market's at in their area, whether it's land, commercial, a standard residential sale, whatever, what have you. How are you going to do that if you can't explain to them why the price is what it is and you're questioning yourself, right? So this is important. It's huge because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I actually memorized that because I love that quote. Love that quote. I'm a huge quote guy. But I love the quote because I don't care what your company provides. I can care less what your company provides. I can go to Century 21 and get a listing agreement signed. They're going to take pictures for me, right? They might even take drone shots for me. Most of them do. I can care less what you're telling me. Why? Why should I go with you? That's the key. That's the question. That's the answer that we have to start switching. And I'm only going to do this once a month just to talk about. This is on video now because I want our agents that are not here to get this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start incorporating this method into my listing presentations in my classes because it's important. So if you guys talk to our agents, let them know, tell them, say, and if you believe in it, go to the agents and let them know, like, hey, I think this is great. We need to be able to use this. Or if you start mentoring someone at some point, this is huge. My mentee is here. I love it. Hi. I think it's fantastic that he's here. But this incorporates everything you do. All right. That's it, guys. Short and sweet today. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to